we should be changing the batteries once a year, just because, you know, we don't know if they're going to go bad, and you would prefer that they do not go bad in the middle of the sale. So one of the registers, I took the batteries out. So there's going to be an error message, and I'm going to have you all look at it so you can see what that error message is, so that when you see it, you don't panic. What do I do? What do I do? I saw that. It's 2AA, okay? And I labeled the battery compartment. It's underneath the printer roll, okay? And I put a little label that says battery compartment, and you take that cover off, you see the batteries, and you put them back in, okay? So we're going to do that. We're going to change all the batteries because we don't know when they were last changed. They could be very good, okay? And what will happen is if they do go bad, it'll buzz 3 times, and then you'll get this L code. That procedure, it says you put it in the register mode, okay? Then you take the batteries out, you put the batteries back in, and then everything will be saved. You won't lose any of that data. So, okay. So then another thing that happens is that we run out of paper. Okay? And you know that we're running out of paper when you have that pink line. Okay, so you need to change that. It's thermal paper. Consequently, we can't keep these registers in a hot place, you know. So what can happen is when you're changing that paper, you think you got it in right and everything's fine, and then you go and it just won't work, and you don't know why. Okay, you get this E10 error, and it's because you didn't close, you didn't latch it down all the way. Another thing that can happen is rush. Oh, I got a long line here, you know, I got to hurry up. And so you tear off that paper, and it opens the, and then you get this E10 error. That's the most common error I've seen at these sales. So consequently, I've labeled it on the machine now. It says E10 error printer paper, okay? So this means that if you needed to open the drawer for that $5 refund, you know, you can press NS and it'll be no sale, and they take the money out. But there's also a lever underneath the cash register that you can use to open up the door manually. Supposed to be.
Is this the lever?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to push it up.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the manual way. These errors, you all have a sheet. Okay. So the first one is what happens if you forget to press subtotal. And so you put the price in, you put the department in, and then you go, and then somebody says, do you have da-da-da-da-da? And, well, no, I don't know. And then you go in here, you hit charge, okay, without doing subtotal. Has that ever happened to you?
You know, a lot of times that happened. So what happened was we cancelled that and do again the whole thing. That adds to the total. There was so big discrepancy in the total.
So you don't
How do we do that?
I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. What happens is that you just can't tell the customer what the total is, because the subtotal will show. Just like at the grocery store, you see the total, and then you go, you know how much it is, and then they say, okay, you're going to charge, and then that total disappears. Okay. So what happens is if you don't press subtotal and you just press charge, it's going to show on your receipt. So you're going to have to look at the receipt to tell the customer it was $80. You don't need to redo the transaction. The receipts show you the department category.
Yes.
If you put it in.
Yes. So it's there. If you look at the receipt, you're going to see all the departments listed. And I'll show you that. So what should you do if you forget to press the cents key? Okay, there's a little key that has 00 next to it. Okay, and so you're charging $18, and you go 18, and then you hit the department key. Now you got 18 cents.
Yes.
You don't have $18. Okay, so to get rid of that, okay, so you press the cents key. You see that it's 18 cents. You can clear it right there. You can use the C key to clear it. But if you've already pressed the department key, now you can't use that C key anymore. Now you have to do the air key. Okay, now the air key will print on your receipt minus 18 cents. Okay, and so now you can start over. If you went ahead and you did the subtotal already, now it's too late. Okay, there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to write it on your air sheet. Okay, so you have 2 chances to correct your error. If you see it, before you do the department, you can use the C key to clear it. If you don't see it until after you press the department key, then you have to use the air key, and it's going to print on your receipt minus. So, how do you know that you press the department number? Again, somebody interrupts you, and you put the price in, and they ask you a question, and now, did I press the department number? I don't know. Well, you look at your screen, and there should be, the department number should be right next to that price, okay? If there is no number there, then you didn't press the department number, okay? What should you see on the screen to let you know that you pressed the subtotal key, okay? So again, you press the price and you did the department, okay? You get interrupted again, and now you hit charge, okay? You never did subtotal. Well, that's not a big deal. We already discussed that. But if you did do subtotal, you should see a T at the top of your on your screen to show that yes, you did a subtotal. Never ever use the decimal point. We've got the cents key, okay, and that's what you'll use. If you try and use the decimal key, you'll get an E. You'll get an error. So what happens if you press the check key instead of the charge? They had this credit card and you accidentally pressed check. What are you going to do? Okay. This is a problem with Karina and Savi. Now they're going to be looking for a check. Okay, that it doesn't exist. In order to let them know that this check doesn't exist, we're going to have to write it on the air sheet. Okay. If you enter the incorrect price, okay. Again, you can hit the C button if you see it right away before you did the department key, and if not, then you're going to have to do the air key to subtract it. Okay. This cash register will do refunds, but we're not going to use that. That's the RF position on there, but we're not going to do that. We're going to just write it on the air sheet, and that is going to be mostly for the $5 coupons that we have to refund.
Just come with a coupon. I am mentally just deducting the $5 and then bringing it in, or how am I telling?
Yes.
Well, you're going to have a sales slip. You just
take it off of something.
Yeah, you write down.
All right.
You can write on there $5.
Right. There's no way to like ring it in $5 coupon. Right?
No.
The plant is $30. If they have a coupon, you put $25.
You just put 25 instead. And
The key that's in this register, it's marked PGM. So this is the manager key, okay? There's other keys around. One is for the drawer, and one is for if you were a clerk and they didn't want you doing manager things, then that would be put in there instead, and then you couldn't do the X, and you couldn't do the Z, and you couldn't do the program. There's a lot of things that you couldn't do. The manager would have to come over, and when you work at a store, you see somebody coming over with that special key, to do that. The X position is kind of fun, but you got to be careful doing that. Say Karim goes over and says, "So how are we doing? How's the sale doing? How much money do you think we made?" Well, you could turn it to the X, and it'll look like it's cashing out, and it'll tell you how much money you've made up to that point. Okay. However, if you get distracted and you forget to put it back in the register mode, now you're going to get an error because you can't do any transactions.
But it'll just give you an error, and you won't be able to do anything, and you'll realize it right away.
Hopefully you will realize it because we're having this little talk today. But I've come over to the register and found out, well, why is it in this mode here? It's supposed to be in the register mode. So it'll say cash, INDW. on your X report, and it means in the drawer, cash in the drawer.
So that's the
Well, it's cash, it better be in the drawer.
Where it's supposed to be.
anything.
The Z report will also show you how many times the air key was used, you know? And it will show you how many times you opened that drawer for an NS, no sale. At the bottom of the Z report, there's something that's called GT, and it has this number that doesn't correlate with anything on the receipt. And you're trying to figure out what this means. It means that's the total amount of money that was ever done on that cash register.
Wow.
It's confusing because if you're trying to cash out and you're trying to figure out, correlate these things with the sheet that Karina and Savi have made, and you don't know what GT is, you know, and you think, where does this go on the report? Well, it doesn't go anywhere because, you know, it doesn't mean anything for us. We used to have, when we had ink, we had 2-ply paper, and one was for the records. It was like a journal, and the other was the receipt for the customer. But we don't really need that. We don't need that journal. Who's going to go and look at that long, you know, tape, you know, to see what exactly it was rung up? What we use is the tickets. So we do save the tickets, and when the customer pays, we take the receipt from the register and we staple it to the white copy of the ticket. And we give that to the customer. That shows the person that is guarding the exit that they have paid. They have the white copy with what they bought, and they have the receipt from the register to show that they have paid. The yellow copy we keep in a box, and that is for us, and so if there's any confusion, that's how Savi and Karina can kind of, you know, figure out what was going on, and how come we sold all the fertilizer, but the cash register said that we only sold 5, It doesn't make sense. So, volunteers, if you work one day, you get 10% off. If you work 2 days, you get 20% off. So we don't want to use the cash register at all to figure this out. We get the calculator out and we figure it out. But we're going to add up all the ones for Department 1, and then we're going to do that 10% or 20%. And then we're going to figure out, you know, how much it's going to be. And we're going to round down, so if it was $80.56, now it's going to be $80 that we're going to key in as Department 1 for their discounted for the plants.
Tickets.
Yeah.
Some of the ticket writers don't do it properly, and they'll have like mango, and they'll have 2, but they have the price for 1.
Right.
So you really have to look at how many trees are there,
Yes.
because they don't always. It should be, you know, mango 2 and 60.
Right.
Key is in what mode?
Off mode right
Okay,
now.
so what do we need to go where? Okay, now we got an air. What is it?
Error 10.
What does that mean?
Everything was error 10. Error 10 right here.
Okay, remember I put it on the register. I put the little, I put a note on the register.
Not closed properly.
Okay,
All right.
so here it is, E10 Air
Paper
printer
problem.
paper problem. Okay, so
All right, it's closed now, but my error message is not going away.
okay, so open it up and
How do you get it to? You just
it's
open it?
underneath there. Yeah,
That
that's
would be plugged in.
it's plugged in. Yeah,
You just have to pull it really hard.
right.
There.
Okay.
Harder than you think. Right.
Yeah, right, there we go.
Okay.
I took it all apart. Now. All right.
Okay, so if you were changing the paper, okay, you would, it says, what does it say there? It says to lift that up on the left, right? There's a little thing that says lift up,
Where is it?
That little.
Oh, there we go.
okay? And you would just lay the paper, they say the shiny side up, so you just lay it in like that, okay? It goes very simple, laid in like that, okay? And then you press it down all the tight. There we go, it's got to click. If it doesn't click, you're going to have that E10 error.
It's not done right.
In what mode?
Register.
Okay. And we have an error. What's the error mean? Uh-oh.
An L. An L?
Yeah, an L.
An L for Lori?
Low battery.
Is it low battery? Really?
That's right. That's right. Dawn is right. Low battery.
Okay, low battery.
Okay. Now, where's the battery located?
Battery. Are the batteries in the underneath?
No. Remember I wrote it?
She said already, right next to you.
Okay.
This off, and we're going battery compartment. Oh, there's no batteries.
Ah.
So here you go.
Yeah, no batteries. How come? Who took them out?
Battery compartment under there? That's true. Or is that
It's under there.
So
Yeah, so you gotta lift it up, and then it says battery, and so there's a cover for that.
What direction?
Okay, so this makes more sense.
That's why I labeled it battery compartment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the battery compartment. I don't want to break it.
That's a good
There you
idea.
go.
There we go. All right. So that's the battery compartment, and this one this way, but you can tell which way it goes because you wrote on it. Now we need to do this.
You need small fingers too.
I have some fingers. I just need to be not holding, and then this one goes this way, right?
Yeah.
Pardon? Thing back on. You can see that it goes this way.
Let's see.
But we need to have this part coming up, right?
That's
come out
that's
if you-
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we never use that roller in the back there for our
Right,
paper,
what is the point of that?
because that is the journal paper. So if we were going to have the journal, then it would roll into there. So that would keep rolling inside the machine instead of printing out of the machine.
Oh, yeah.
Right. This is all pushed down.
I think there's a little hinge there, right? So here's two paper coming out again.
The paper just doesn't really matter, right?
Oh, yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it does have to.
It has to be out in order for it to snap in. Yeah.
There's a couple of hinges back there, so as long as you're in the, there we go. No?
Okay, turn it off and then turn it back to register and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now it's gone. Or you can do feed.
You have to feed it.
To feed. The feed button is way up on the top there.
Okay. Okay, this is gonna make it easier, so, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
Okay.
Yes.
The first one is $15,
Okay, so,
and it's a tree.
all right, and it's a tree, and that's department. One?
Yeah. $35 fertilizer.
They said, no, that's it, she's having back pain.
Okay,
Juice,
$18 herb.
she gets work from home. So they gave her 1 year off.
Okay, $9
She's in Dallas because
bread.
my other niece and her husband.
Oh, no, wait, what's wrong? What's wrong? It's supposed to be $5. Clear it, okay, very good.
She's good. She's higher.
Wait, so as long as it's before you hit the department.
You can clear.
Clear.
Okay. Honey?
Honey costs more than that.
Oh, for honey? So you
Okay.
don't put honey first and then the amount?
He said,
No, it's always the amount first, then the department.
Okay,
Okay?
now at this point, if I realize that I'm wrong, I can hit the error key, and it will subtract that
Okay,
back
so
out.
hit the error key. Now, the honey was $5. Okay, so now you got minus 3, okay?
Okay.
So now put $5 in. And honey,
All right, and honey was number 5. Okay.
okay? Okay, now hit subtotal. And then notice one other thing, okay?
Okay,
You put the department key in, it's showing there, it says 5.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so you know you did the department key,
Very
okay?
good.
All right, now subtotal. It's showing a T, okay? So that means you to total, okay?
All right.
Now it's a charge, so hit
Okay.
charge. Okay. Meanwhile, you're telling the customer $78 and, you know, the credit
You
card.
need a card.
Yeah, yeah. We're looking now at the end of the sale,
First of all,
the
Put it down?
sheet that, yeah, you can put it down there.
you will get $200. So you count it and put it in your drawer to start with.
Okay, and where are you going to write that down, Karina, that you counted the money, you put it in the drawer, where do you write that down on the paper?
Well, you could write down.
Open
your
up
actual
tax
Register at beginning of shift.
Yep.
See at the top here?
Yep.
The amount, A.
Okay, the amount A is where you're gonna write that down.
Everybody wants to spend.
At the end of the day is when you fill this out. So
Okay, what do you do before you fill that out? What do you have to do on the register?
Oh, you gotta close your register by turning the key to, what is it? What does it say?
Z.
A Z.
What happens if you turn it to X?
Get the whole report.
Close the whole.
That is not closing the whole day.
Cancels.
That's just a temporary.
It's a temporary
Midday.
close, and so all that money will be on your next day's sale
Right,
if
all
you
that
don't.
record's gonna go on the next day, so make sure it's gonna be a Z.
We're gonna turn it to Z. And in order to do the Z code, you have to turn it to Z and then press cash. Right, and it's gonna have all these weird numbers on it, and, okay, so you can pull that off, Sabi. So there's departments there, okay? We've got different departments at the top. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, okay? And we're gonna pass this around so you can all look at it. Okay, so there's different amounts for each of the departments, okay? And on your form, Karina, you have the different departments,
Right
correct?
at the bottom, at the
Okay.
very bottom.
So those numbers need to be put in the correct department on that form. At the very bottom, it says gross total, okay? And that is the total amount of money that we took in at the sale, okay? Then below that, it'll say whether it's charge or check or cash, okay? And so then you can put that amount in the correct place on the form. Because actually, it's not going to correlate with the cash registers as far as the charge goes because we only have one credit card machine. So our total of charges are going to be one amount for both registers. $16 for herbs. Oh no, it was supposed to be 15.
Oh, 16, okay. Killing.
15.
Wait a minute, I can't see.
What's up on the screen? What is it showing you on the screen? Okay. Did you do the department key yet?
No,
How do you know that?
because it would be there.
It would be there. So what can you do? Clear.
Yeah.
Okay. It was $15. It was $15 for the honey.
So we need 15 for honey.
Honey.
That's 7.
Oh no, that was supposed to be bread.
Gee.
What did you do? Clear? No, you did the subtotal already. So that didn't do anything. Once you hit subtotal, you got to use the error key.
Eric King, start over.
Where's the error key?
No, here.
There you go. So it wasn't too late to hit that error key. So you got minus 15. It was supposed to be $10.
You know, the tendency is to press the cancel key.
Yes, yes.
Lot of times.
But you can only do that, before you hit the department key, and you'll know that because now you have the department there. It says 7.
Okay, so now
So you know, and you know that you didn't subtotal, so you could still do an error. No, it was supposed to be $5. So do the error key again. Okay, and now do $5.
number 7.
Yeah, yeah. You see, so you could do that as many times as you wanted before you press subtotal for that amount. Okay.
I'm only doing tomatoes, and I found that if I put them on my
All right, now what?
nothing bothers them.
So now we do subtotal.
Right, and it's the T at the top. Uh-oh, what happened? How did we get over 5? Oh, so what happened here? Okay, so we didn't, when we were doing $5, we didn't hit the cents key. You just did 5, and so you got 05, okay? So it's too late now.
Because if you leave it there.
It's too late now to,
That happens to me a lot.
okay. Was,
That happened a lot.
yeah. So you gotta get it in your head.
Okay, so now we're
Cents,
gonna
and I put
charge it?
cents here, you know?
Yeah.
So don't just hit 5, you gotta do the cents. And don't try to do this either.
And my next favorite is my Starfruit.
You're gonna get an error.
Which one? You got an error?
You can't
If
do.
you can't do the decimal point.
Oh, you cannot?
You cannot do the decimal point. Better to just rip it off, attach it to your air sheet, so they know that this is
So now in
incorrect.
that case, you look at the sales slip.
So I've had it.
How many,
Yeah.
how many
Right.
plants at that, or
Right.
whatever it is, jams, whatever was $5.
Right, on the air
You can
sheet,
do
they're
that.
gonna- they can deduct that.
But that
yeah.
says plants for $5.
Right, the Department 1 plants, and we know we don't have any plants that are 5 cents. Yeah, so it's just easier to start over.
Okay. So if you were spending 500, it'd be 500, boom.
Right, right.
So you have to use the 0 zeros for 50.
Right.
Yeah, and then to hit the cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. Hey, ladies, that was good.
Well, thank you, Cindy.